Hello, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. In today's card making video, I'm going to be using one of the new stamp sets from the Sending Smooches release. It's the Falling For You stamp set. It has this adorable gnome falling into a pile of hearts. There's also a coordinating die set that die cuts out all 5 of the images. I'm going to start by laying out my images onto a piece of white cardstock, and as I was laying them down, I realized that this stamp set with all 5 of the images would make a really good 1-layer card. So that's exactly what I decided to do. So I'm going to stamp these out with some Copic friendly black ink because I will be coloring in my images today with Copics. It's my favorite coloring medium right now, so I do it a lot. And this is a really good image for that. Now I missed stamping out the bottom left corner, so I did actually stamp that 2 times. Thank goodness for my Misty. And now for coloring these out, I'm starting with RV21, coloring in the background of this pile of hearts. I did color one of the hearts accidentally with pink, but that's okay because my hearts are going to be darker, so that will be covered up. Next, I'm shadowing all the hearts with R43, and then I will blend that out just a little bit with RV21, and that will complete the pile of hearts. Next, for the hearts themselves, I'm using RV06. Now, the lid of this marker really matched some pink cardstock that I wanted to use, but once it colored out, it just was a little bit more vibrant than I was expecting it to be, and then it didn't look as good with my pink cardstock that I had picked out. So it is brighter than I thought, but I kind of liked the almost neon effect that this color gives this card. And in all today's cards, I'm going to be playing with different shades of pink, and I think it's just fun for Valentine's Day to play with those fun different pink and red color combinations. So I actually am giving highlights to the hearts with a red marker, and I feel like that really did the trick for these, just made them pop even more. So that finishes up the hearts, and now it is time to color out the gnome's beard. Now I already outlined this with my C0 marker, but it was really hard to see, so I just skipped ahead to coloring with my darkest color, C4, and then I'll blend that out with my C2, and that will just help blend that color out a little bit, and then I'll come back with the C0 and blend that out even more and soften out those edges. So there he is, so cute. E31 is my lightest color for his skin, and then E34 is my darkest. I love that his little hands are showing on this image. It's like he's falling into the heart saying wee, right? It's so cute. I did bring in E53 just to soften out that color a little bit. And for the hat itself, I am going to use the same colors that I used on the background of the pile of hearts, but I thought it would be interesting for you to see how I colored out the gnome's hat. I know when I'm watching coloring videos, I'm always curious about how they color out the largest images in a particular stamp set. So here is the hat. I love coloring in a gnome's hat. I just think they're so cute. I like the kind of soft floppiness of them. So there's the hat, and I will color out his shoes in brown. So E25 is my lightest for this, E59 is my darkest, and then E27 will be my mid-tone, and then I'll just bring back the lightest marker to blend that out. Little more shadowing. Sometimes I have to go back in and do a second layer, and I really like the blend I get after that. So I colored in those hearts the same color I colored in the hearts in the pile, and then I'm just going over this image with my white gel pen, adding in some highlights, and of course the little cute freckles on his face. I did give him some rosy cheeks with my RV21 marker. All right, so now in and around the gnome, I'm going to add a sky. So I'm just kind of sketching the outline of a cloud and then using sideways brush strokes to fill in the sky. So it kind of looks a little bit like there's wispy clouds, and then I will trace around my gnome image And that will be the background for my 1-layer card. I don't often make 1-layer cards. And when I say 1-layer, I mean except for like the scalloped edge I'm going to add and the card base itself. It's a 1-layer card. I didn't die cut anything. I didn't pop anything out, you know. So I'm pretty excited about that because it's not really like my forte. So next I'm going to add a little grounding under the gnome with some shadowing using those same cool gray markers I used on his beard, and then he looks like he's sitting on something and not just floating in the air. So that finishes that off. And next I will add that scalloped piece. It's from the Great Outdoors Slimline die set. And the reason why I added that is actually I stamped this on a scrap piece of paper. So when I went to add this onto my card base, it was a little bit too short and I had extra room at the bottom. So I thought a scallop would look really cute right there. Yeah, love it. So that has a little stitching that gets left behind on the extra piece, the negative piece, so you can use both for a project. Very cool. That actually finishes off card number 1, and now we're going to make a shaker. So I am using these etched line circle dies, also brand new from this release. Now when you die cut this, it's going to etch a line in the paper that you cut the circle from and also into the circle. It's so cool. I also die cut a ring using 2 of the circles in that set, and I'm gluing that to a window sheet that is a circle because this is a shaker card that's a window into my card. So now I'm going to add some window sheet to the back of the circle that's on the card front itself. This card is a 5x5 card, by the way, so a nice square card. And next I will take some foam strips and go all around that pink ring circle. Now this cardstock right here is the cardstock I was hoping that would match the hearts in card number 1. And it didn't, so I'm using it on this one and hopefully going to do a little bit different pinks that match better, but you can decide when you see my coloring. All right, so once that is all filled in with some foam tape, then I will be ready to add my shaker elements. I just want to make sure that all of the strips touch so my shaker elements cannot escape. I use my anti-static powder to coat the window sheets so that it wouldn't be too staticky for these confetti clouds from Trinity Stamps. Now, Trinity Stamps is getting a whole bunch of their embellishments back in the shop. It's so exciting. If these ones are available, I'll go ahead and link them below, but keep watching the shop for more embellishments to arrive. So I added that shaker to my card, and now I'm going to add a pink circle to the inside. I just lined it up with that window, and then I'm going to shut the card so that the adhesive sticks to the back of the card, and now there is pink on the inside of that window. So I have 2 different shades of pink, and those clouds have a little iridescent quality to them that looks pink, so I love that. Now I'm going to add of course the gnome to this card, so I'm going to color him out, and you can see there I am using all 3 of the markers I used on the first card that I used for the gnome's hat to color in the leaves. So I'm only using 1 color per heart. And then he got his same skin and beard color. And then I'm adding a hat that is that kind of bluish green color. So using my BG markers for this. BG 10 is that lightest one that I used on the cloud background on the previous card. So there you have it. And he is adorable. I will also color in his boots the same color as his hat just for something fun. And now I'm going to glue this down to another die cut piece that has no stamping on it so that you cannot see the coloring on the back of the gnome when you open this card, because remember it is a window. So I just wanted to cover that up. Next I'm going to glue this to my frame, but it's only going to touch on the very edges, so I only needed to add a little bit of glue, not glue to the whole thing. It's going to rest right there on the edge, just like that. Now the inside window, you can see the foam tape from the shaker. So I cut another ring and I'm going to cover that up so you can't see it, and just gives it a nice finished off look. But look, you can see all those cute clouds in the shaker. All right, to finish this off, I'm going to add some hearts to the corner. So all 3 of the hearts in the corner, and I liked that so much that I stamped 3 more of each heart, die cut them out, and stuck them to the corner. Now I'm using this bow builder die set from Trinity to die cut that open bow. It's like a frame of a bow. And then I used my lightest BG marker and colored a background to glue this down onto. I didn't have the right color of cardstock. I really just wanted it to match my card, so it would be lighter on the inside of this bow. So I am cutting that out, fussy cutting, just in and around the die cut, and it goes pretty quick, especially when you speed up the video, then it's really fast. I'm going to add that to my card with a couple foam squares, and then I added the sentiment on the inside, so when the card's shut you won't be able to see that die cut sentiment. And then I'll stamp out those same hearts in each corner, repeating the look from the outside on the inside of the card. And I found some cotton candy ink from Altenew that I thought would match really well with the pinks I used today. So that's the one I used. And that finishes up card number 2. I think it's darling. I love the window. I love that you can see the clouds when you open it. And I just feel like he's falling into the clouds and hearts at the same time. All right, on to card number 3. You can see I went totally different on this card, using some pinks that have more of a coral undertone. And then I'm going to match that up with a new piece of paper from the All Hearts paper pad from Trinity. This is part of the new release. I think it's so much fun. I love the colors in this. I'm going to use that color that's kind of the teal color, bluish green, and it has the circle and hearts on one side and all hearts on the other side. I'm going to die cut this scalloped frame from the mini Slimline envelope builder die set, and that will be the frame for my card. Isn't it darling? It's so cute. I'm going to cut that again from a strip of white cardstock, and then once I have that die cut, I'm going to use this cloud border from the Slimline Borders die set, and it also has like a wave and also some grass in it. It's such a great Slimline set. It is, again, the Slimline Scenic Borders, and then I can glue that to the bottom of my card. I'm going to add my gnome, and you can see the gnome is much bigger than my card front, and I'm going to show you why that's totally fine at the end of this video. So I'm stamping out the sentiment with clear pigment ink and then adding on some white embossing powder and heat melting that with my heat tool, and then it's ready to go. I'm going to use a banner die from that same Slimline, mini Slimline die set, and I'll die cut out my sentiment. I needed it to be closer to that right edge so it will fit on my card. So I just snipped off the excess on the left, and I'll tuck that kind of behind the gnome's hand. Next, I am bringing in my new favorite alphabet die set, the Graham Cracker alphabet die set from this new collection, and I'm die cutting XOXO to put right under that sentiment, and a little bit lighter of a coral color than my sentiment banner, and I think it looks so good with this kind of teal color. There we go. Isn't it a cute alphabet? It's small, but it's not too small. I think it's great for making sentiments on cards. I already did a card that I used a sentiment from using this alphabet die set, the one that says I soda like you, and it had a soda on it. It was cute. I think it was cute. All right, next I'm going to add this to my mini Slimline card base, which was a 6x6 piece of paper scored at 3 inches and folded in half. Now here I've taken a business size envelope and I cut it down at about 6.5 inches. The leftover piece that came off, I die cut this from the envelope builder, the Slimline envelope builder die set, and then I adhered it to the top of this envelope. And now I have the perfect size envelope for my oversized mini Slimline and can send that in the mail, even though the gnome is way too big for my mini Slimline card. There are all 3 of the cards with the Falling For You gnome stamp set. You can find all the things I used listed and linked in the description box below. And if you want to check out this new release, I know the gnomes are going fast, so don't miss out. I will be back again next Saturday with another video for Trinity Stamps, so make sure you come back and visit me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure that you follow Trinity Stamps for more great ideas with their new release. Thanks so much for stopping by and happy stamping. Bye!